Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to address you through this video message at the Congress today. The urgency of our cause necessitates our collective effort to combat the alarming statistics, a grim reality where someone loses their life in a road crash every 24 seconds, amounting to an unacceptable 1.35 million fatalities annually. Tragically, road crashes stand as the leading cause of death among young individuals aged 5 to 29. In response, the United Nations has proclaimed a second decade of action for road safety with a resolute aim to halve these fatalities by 2030. How do we achieve this ambitious goal? Certainly by enhancing road safety education to reshape attitudes and by enforcing laws to deter perilous behaviors. Today, I wish to emphasize the important role of infrastructure in this mission. Enhancing infrastructure significantly diminishes the toll of deaths and severe injuries resulting from road crashes, even those caused by human error or rule violations. Central to this effort is the implementation of the Safe System approach, a method focused on designing and managing road safety to prevent or minimize fatal and irreversible consequences of human mistakes. This approach encompasses four fundamental elements: vehicle, users, emergency services, and, crucially, infrastructure. Allow me to present some recommendations for applying this methodology to existing infrastructures. Evaluate the classification and hierarchy of roads. Set appropriate speed limits tailored to the infrastructure's characteristics, vehicles, and users, reinforcing compliance through enforcement. Enhance the design and signage of intersections, clubbed sections, and gradient changes, improving visibility, predictability. Implement separation to safeguard vulnerable modes of transport like cyclists, pedestrians, and motorcyclists. Introduce traffic calming measures such as speed bumps, 30 kph zone, roundabouts, and smart traffic lights. Mandate the use of protective devices like seat belts, helmets, and child restraint systems while preventing driving under the influence. Upgrade existing roads. Let's not forget to address the huge issue of traffic congestion and loss of time, air pollution, and economic costs associated. A comprehensive and collaborative effort is imperative, engaging of professionals, especially road traffic safety specialists, and organizations responsible for road safety. I trust that this Congress will foster a heightened awareness of the pivotal role infrastructure plays in advancing road safety and sustainable mobility. I thank you for your attention and dedication to this crucial endeavor.